It's getting better. It's getting better. Since you've been mine.
And now, 1160 AM KBDT proudly presents Life Solutions, coaching, counseling, naturopathic medicine, insights for successful living, and getting better with Beal.
Welcome. Well, the governor opened up the state of Texas yesterday based on the appropriate criteria. So we saw a lot more people on the road today. I don't know how everyone feels about that. I would love to know how you feel about opening up sports down the line. Dr. Fauci was saying that we could bring sports back. You know, he thinks sports should come back, but no spectators. And all the players, the NFL players and all the baseball players, whatever, for their season, they just stay in one town, in one hotel, and all together, and they just play at one stadium, and they do that all year. And that will all season. That would be their season. And so I have Dr. Jim Slaughter here helping me co-host today.
Hey, everybody. Good to be with you today.
And we have, oh, my gosh, a good friend, Phil Villapiano. Now, Villapiano, depending on how you want to pronounce that, he played football in Bowling Green State University, and he was the Mid-American Conference Player of the Year. He was played for the Raiders.
Yes, he did. He sure did.
And he played. Hey, Phil Villapiano, welcome to the show. I'm going to ask you about this.
Okay, Ann. Well, thank you, and thanks for having me. And it's always fun to come on with you guys. And I love your show. I like what you do. And I like what you talk about.
Well, we are going to chat today because you have this incredible background. First of all, you were a linebacker for the Raiders from 1970 to 1979. You're saying 71. Which one of us is right? Is it 71 or 70?
Well, January always hits in the middle of the football season, so the years never really sound what they were. But yeah, I got. Let me see. I was drafted in 71.
Oh, 71.
So I played in my first year was in 71 and 72. But my last year was in 83 and 84. Okay. So I don't know. It was all I know was 13 years.
So I was wrong. But I was close. Jim was probably more right. I hate when I'm right. I hate when I'm wrong. I love when I'm right. Well, okay. So you're a 1971 AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year. You've been to 4 Pro Bowls. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And one
Those
Super
were
Bowl.
Fun days.
Yeah. And you made the defining play in the Super Bowl. Was it Super Bowl 11?
Super Bowl 11, we were playing against the Vikings.
That's a great highlight. That was a pick six. You intercept the pass and run. It looked like to me about 50 yards back into the end zone, Phil. I don't know what it was really, but, boy, that was a great play.
Well, thank you, Jim. It's just crazy. It seems like yesterday that we were playing in the Super Bowl, but it was 76, 86, 96, 06. That's 40-something years ago. Man.
I know. It's
incredible.
When you think of
my
Super
gosh.
Bowl 11.
Yeah.
Well, and I saw you in New Orleans, and you were at a bar singing a song, and then I saw you. I think you and some other football players were celebrating. I'm not sure. Was that from the I know that you guys, like Franco Harris, you're known for that. You're known for that friendship with Franco Harris, and mainly the longtime friendship to the Steelers for one of the most incredible plays, best known plays.
We actually hated the Steelers, but you know what happens after you retire, and then you got to tell all these stories for all these years, and then all of a sudden you're telling the stories how much you hate everybody, and then you end up loving everybody. So
you're loving everybody. Yes.
When I played against Franco, I'd have tore his head off, but now I love the guy. I don't understand that.
It is funny, but some of it, don't you think, is that you guys know where you're coming from. You've gone through a lot of the same kinds of things, and you put your bodies up against walls every week, and so some of it is you know what the other guy went through. I don't know, but then sometimes the hard feelings just fade over time.
Yeah, Jim, that's really good because you're getting a little fraternity, and I never was in a service, but. You see these service guys, man. That's their fraternity. They went out there and they they did everything. I mean, my God, that's the ultimate. The ultimate is going to war with somebody. But John Madden, every pregame itinerary, we get the thing and say, okay, breakfast at this time, taping at this time, a team prayer at this time, blah, 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 blah. And the last thing he wrote was, we go to war. So at 1 o'clock.
Boy, I tell you, it looked like a war out there on that field.
Oh,
let me
my
tell
gosh. Yeah, it was awesome. Okay, so I just have to say this. So, yes, you can go to war, but now, see, you're actually talking to people that love Dallas and love the Dallas Cowboys. At least we've always loved the Dallas Cowboys, though we think they're challenged a lot lately. But we know that when you were playing in the 70s, the Cowboys were fantastic.
They weren't. Wait a minute. The Cowboys were not that far off last year. Why would they
I
lose in the
know.
playoffs?
Yeah, but they did.
Just making the playoffs is huge.
That's a huge
It's
deal.
hard to make it is hard, and they were there. They just didn't play good when they got there. But they'll be better this year.
So realistically, since I'm just watching, I mean, I played as a kid, but it's like, oh, come on, as a fan, we really wanted them to make it. But when you were playing, they were the bad guys, right? Like was that one of your, because you said you hate the Broncos. I've seen you talking with all your alumni there at the Raiders, and you say you hate the Broncos and you hate the Cowboys. And I'm like, I bet he did hate the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I hated them all the way. I think the only thing I liked about them was the cheerleaders. But, Landry, him and his hat,
yes.
I would like to have stole his hat. Staubach, coming out of the Navy, and I had to hate him because he was too good. And then, do you remember Calvin Hill, how good he was? And
yes.
Oh my God! You guys had such good players. And I love D.D. Lewis. I love the way he played.
Yep.
Him and I, I think we kind of resembled each other, pretty much the same size, and we were a little undersized, but we played hard. So I liked D.D. So anyway, you respect the Cowboys, and we had. This is one of my craziest things, and I got to tell you guys this because some of the old time Cowboy fans will love it. We opened up your stadium, not the brand new one, the one before.
Okay.
The one that had the hole in the roof.
Yep.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the hole in the roof, the spectators sit there and they don't get wet. And the players would get wet if it poured. Well, just so happened, the night before the game, Bob Moore and I, who was a tight end, and we decided we were going to go to Craig Morton's bar and have some fun. Well, we overdid it a little bit, but we figured it was a night game, so we had plenty of time to sleep. Anyway, we overdid it a lot, and even by game time, which was probably 6 or 7 o'clock, I was still woozy, and it started to pour, and I was never so happy for a pouring rain, because in the rain, you can get knocked down and blame it on the weather. So I go out there, you got a Gene Fugit is your tight end. And I get out there and I'm getting in my stance and they snap the ball. He hits me a shot right in the throat with his helmet. Boom! I went right on my butt. And anyway, so Don Shinnick, my linebacker, goes, he's looking at me like, what? And I'm like, it's slippery. Little did he know I was drunk.
Oh, gosh. That's funny.
But anyway, I love playing against the Cowboys. And, I remember there was a book out, Why does everybody hate the Cowboys?
Yeah,
and stuff?
yeah.
So
Yep.
I had to tell my story in there too. So anyway, the Cowboys, they're great for the NFL. I love it. I love Jerry Jones. I love the way he acts and what he does, and the way he runs the team. I think that's great. It reminds me of Al Davis. And
yeah, I was going to say.
Players are, you got some really good players. And hey, you're fine. You're fine.
Well, I tell you what,
as long as you make the playoffs, you're fine.
Right. I tell you, you guys have, you established such a legacy there in Oakland, Phil. And, you guys are AFC, we were NFC. And the thing is, though, you were a team to be feared. You were a team to be hated on the other side of the AFC, NFC line. And everybody respected you, though. And Al Davis had his thing going, and he believed in winning and winning well. And you guys followed his lead.
Yeah, it was a fun team to play for, and I'm in Ohio. I grew up in Jersey, and I go to Ohio to college. So the day of the draft, which is coming up like this week, right?
Yep. Yep.
I remember we're all in my cellar. I played in the Senior Bowl game and had a really good game. And that whole week, I kept getting all these phone calls from every team, including the Cowboys. You guys had that great scouting department down there. I think I got more letters from the Cowboys than anybody.
Yeah, Gil Brandt was with us down then.
Gil Brandt, exactly. Exactly. I was trying to remember his name. So Gil Brandt, it was wonderful. I thought I might be a Cowboy. And then, out of the blue, the only team I think in the whole NFL that never contacted me was the Raiders, and the draft started at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm a second-round pick, and it was about 6:30 at night by the time they got to it, because there was no time limits and no TV and all that stuff back in 71. So the Raiders called me up, and I remember looking at my girlfriend. I said, "Go get the Atlas." I didn't even know where Oakland was. I knew it was in California, but we had to look on the map. And then, so she pulls out the map when I'm on the phone with the Raiders, and I go, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to play out there." I had no clue.
And
but
where was that? Where was that?
Where was that?
What do you mean?
Where were the Raiders when you first started?
Oh yeah, they were the Raiders, and they were in Oakland, of course.
Oakland,
and
yes.
They had been in Oakland. They did I think I got to the stadium that we're leaving this year. I think I was probably the third year there. They played in a place called Frank Yule Field, which is it's just a municipal field in Oakland. It's an old, anybody could have played in there. So they played in there, and actually played at Candlestick for a year. So the Raiders were, back in the old days, they're just bopping around looking for a home. But, man, when Al Davis took over and when I got out there and John Madden being the coach, it could not have been better for me. I just love that style of football, the rough stuff. I always wanted to play football where, I like to play at a different level. I like to play for keeps. I don't care if I get hurt, but I'm going to hurt you. And I love that kind of football. And when I went to the Raiders, kind of unlike Bowling Green, you couldn't even swear at Bowling Green on the field. It was like we were in a choir or something.
Oh yeah.
When I went to Oakland, they turned us loose, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Well, and
that was the Davis Madden.
You were in New Jersey, and you went to Oakland, California, and you were playing for John Madden. Like, how could that not be cool? And all those guys kind of had that same mentality you did, right?
Oh yeah, it didn't start with me, and it started with guys like Ben Davidson and Dan Connors and Pete Banaszak and George Plant and Jim Otto. I mean, all these guys they were tough, nasty people.
They
and
were.
I loved them. I loved the way they played. I mean, I remember Hewart Dixon, a fullback when I got there. He would run down the field and throw his arm into people's faces. Like on defense, usually you throw your arm. Hewart, when he was running the ball, he was as dangerous as as a defensive player.
Well, that's like a
great.
karate martial arts move, because I have a black belt, and we do stuff like that. And so I saw you guys, and this is one of the reasons I thought, oh my gosh, Phil will be perfect for this. So for this segment, we have like a minute left. I want you, when we come back, I want you so much to share. Because, I told Jim, now, Phil wasn't a weenie. And, this was a tough guy. And they played tough football. So I have to know how you feel about all this stuff going on and not having any games. And with Dr. Fauci talking about maybe sports coming back eventually, but if you do, then he kind of wants everybody, he's a medical guy. So he's just thinking medically, right? Keep people safe, and you can keep them in a bubble and keep you guys in a hotel and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, I have to find out, because I know I was talking to you about Ray Guy, that you played with Ray Guy, and I started thinking, oh my gosh, those guys, Phil would have a whole, and you're funny anyway, you're such a funny guy. And you were the entertainment guy, like the activities guy for the Raiders that whole time.
Activities director for the team. We heard that.
You always made people laugh by doing kind of funny things. So when we get
we
back,
had a lot of fun, Andy.
Oh,
you had to have fun in those. You had to have fun. You couldn't stand it if you didn't have fun.
And we need to have fun. And I've only got 5 seconds, so save it. Save it for when we get right back.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, we're still on, although the audience can't hear us right now. But Phil, it is so much fun talking to you, Phil, about those days and everything. Man, thanks.
Yeah,
thanks
well,
again for being
I'm
on.
glad you called. This is fun.
It's great. It's fun.
It makes me feel young again, Tim.
Well, I tell you, I'm glad, and everybody needs somebody to help them do that. One of the things that I've been thinking about through all this Corona stuff, and just just the fact that we're all a little bit, I guess, just made to fear about this, and I think it's kind of crazy. But anyway, the value of sports to life in America, I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking, okay, sports actually plays a huge part in life in America, and if we have a chance, you might want to say something about that when we come back with our audience and everything. But I mean, it gives life to America in a lot of ways.
I totally agree with you, Jim, and I certainly like to talk about that. I mean, we all miss it, and if there's maybe a silver lining in this virus here, is that finally everybody realizes how much we love sports, and how much we need sports. That's kind of the silver lining here. It's like, hey, man, we need our sports, and I think there's people out there jogging now and walking now, just getting exercise that would never have done it, because they're realizing, hey, man, we need sports, and let me do some sports, right now, and it's crazy, but I think, and I'll tell you back when we get on the air, but we've had strikes back when I played. Hey, so you miss 6 or 8 weeks, so what? Make the season shorter. I think baseball's talking about that, and maybe baseball's going to learn they don't need 160 games, or whatever they play. So we're going to learn stuff out of this, but we don't have, maybe it's just going to look a little different this year. I remember was it 85 or something? The NFL had their last strike, and Bill Parcells. I'm living in New Jersey. I retired in '84. He calls me up. He goes, "Hey, Bill, hey, I need you Saturday night." I said, "For what, Bill?" He goes, "To play. What else?" I said, No. So anyway, remember, that was just a mess. And they had replacement games and all that. Just call it off for another month and play a 10-game season. Have some fun, and maybe we'll learn something. But I think, without sports, this nation would be boring.
Well, and that's what we're about, right? I mean, like baseball and football, and that's you think of America and you think of hot dogs and you think of baseball, and I mean, you've got to have sports, and I think that just take it all away. I know that we need to bring it back, and I if they want to change it, I mean, because we're going to have these other illnesses come. This one's come, and China had SARS and MERS, and now they have this, and so are we constantly going to do this over and over? So it's an interesting concept. We're going to come back on the air, and we're going to talk about this.
Okay.
And so you just be yourself, and we will have a lot of fun. All right, Christy's going to signal me in just a minute. I also would love to hear more about the Immaculate Reception near the end of the show. You have to go through that again, okay? And so we'll save that, because people need to remember all those wonderful, fun things. Coming back.
Well, we were the number one play.
I've got to admit, it's getting better, a little better, all the time.
And now here's more Getting Better with Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
Welcome back with incredible Super Bowl winner Phil Villapiano, linebacker. I think he was the fastest linebacker in his area. He specialized in making big plays. I believe, and I'm going to vote for him if I get to vote, to go to the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
And we thought you were going to go this year. We thought maybe I wasn't sure. Why did I think you were going? I really thought.
You should be there, Phil. You should be there.
Hey, it's crazy, and it's so nice to even have your name brought up. You know what I mean? That's that's the top of the top, and maybe back years ago, I don't know. I think somebody had a problem with Raiders and so, I mean, guys like Kenny Stabler not getting in. We have a slew of really, really good players that were overlooked. And now, with all of the, the camera work and, I mean, the way these guys, the instant replays and stuff that we were just starting when we played. Okay, and if you got one instant replay, or remember, it'd be like here we got an instant replay. It was like a crazy thing. Right. Now they redo everything. They show these guys. They look like superheroes. And I think our guys, hey, if you didn't get in way back when, you ain't getting in now, because these guys look like
I don't know about
like
that.
Superman out there.
So
we'll see.
So you didn't get the call, but I think you will. I do, and I'll keep
you,
cheering
Ann.
for that. Now, tell us what you think about you guys. Not you, because you'll be watching, but they are your guys. The Raiders. If they're all playing all together with no fans and they're staying all in one place in a hotel. What do you think about all that Dr. Fauci was saying?
Well, I think Dr. Fauci is a great doctor, and I love him standing up next to Trump and having a good time and saying some stuff. Trump looking at him like, what? We heard this, But anyway, I think the man is a wonderful guy. I like his Italian guy. I like
He's
that.
He's Italian, exactly. He is.
So all good with Dr. Fauci. But let's leave football to the football guys. And no, staying everybody in one hotel. Are you kidding me? We hate those guys. You hate your opponents. You don't
That's
want
what I wanted to
around
hear.
anybody. You can't do that. No, I think, Ann, if we maybe shorten the season a little bit, but no, keep it the same way it is, or cancel the season for one whole year. But even though I'd hate that, I think football's good. I think we're going to be okay. I kind of feel like basketball could be done, though, just because they've missed so much, and they're probably going to miss a lot more, or they're going to have to really shorten that season. I don't know how they're going to do it. But we know, and Jim and I were just talking about, we need sports. We need sports in the United States, and we need to be entertained. We need movies, right? Yeah. How about all these people? I love this. Everybody's binge watching these shows. I'm watching this Tiger, man.
Oh, are you watching it? Oh, what are you thinking about it? You just got to say what you think about it.
I think
cracking
that guy's
up?
a wacko. I loved when he was running for governor.
We haven't gone that far. Yeah, that's funny.
So I love that show, and then we're watching Ozarks. Are you watching Ozarks?
Well, we've been told about Ozarks. We
haven't really gone.
We haven't gotten as much
haven't
time,
opened that one up yet.
we
but
would love to.
We're looking at it.
We're getting there.
Be careful. Man, be careful of Ozark. You're going to stay up all night with that one. That's really good. So anyway, hey, I remember going to Bowling Green. I'm a physical education major, right? So all I wanted to do was play football. But I'm going to be a phys ed teacher. And I remember going to, like when you're a senior and you get in some of these classes like sports psychology, right?
Right.
I mean,
Did you take that?
Yes, and I enjoyed it. And you learn that people need to be entertained. So sports will never go away. Sports will only get bigger. Sports will, because they're entertaining people. The entertainment industry, the movies, people gotta have it. They work their butts off for 5 days, and on that weekend they got to be entertaining. Now we're being entertained on Monday night and Thursday night and Friday night and Saturday night through football. So it's getting bigger and bigger, but hey, it's not going to go away. We got the problem with the virus right now. We'll get through that, and we'll be back to sports as usual, I think.
Well, and this is what's tough about football when we come back from break, because football, especially linebackers, I mean, you guys, let's think of the front line. You're down in each other's faces.
That's okay.
You're tackling each other, you're touching. And so, it's much more of a contact sport than, say, baseball, right? And so it sounds maybe a little more challenging, and that's part of what makes it so fun. It's even very different than rugby, right? Rugby. Yeah. And so
rugby, everybody gets down in them scrums and sweat on each other a little bit.
Yeah, they do.
That's kind of fun. Yeah,
that's fun.
I think
10 seconds. We got 10 seconds.
We're gonna be okay, and everybody's gonna figure it out because we need it. We need.
Okay, Phil. So the next segment is 15 minutes.
Okay.
I know our sponsors. It's like you get more sponsors, you lose more time. And so it's this weird. Radio
That's
is
good, though.
wild because we have these weird segments, right? It's good because if I didn't have any sponsors, I'd have a lot more time. But just
But no, you need sponsors.
I need sponsors. And so we this next segment is it 15 minutes? So that's when we can talk more about that because football is a little bit more contact, and that's where I love football. I love football more than any other sport. How about you, Jim?
Yeah, me too. It really is my favorite.
And so, I grew up playing, with my brother's football. I didn't get to play football, because I was a female. So I did gymnastics.
Right.
I played softball. I got to play flag football in college, and I had so much fun. And I know you actually helped start that flag football before the age 14. That was something you did, right? And so I loved it.
I like that. I think that's a pretty good idea. Just get the guys just show them how to play. Get them to learn all the rules, and then as they're a little bit older, then start getting hit. I think I said freshman in high school, right?
Yeah,
hold it off till then. Even though my kid, oh my God, my kid was wild in the Papa Winter. He loved it. So he played, I think, starting at 8. So but with all the concussion stuff, how about this? Guys? All the concussion, all that shit we had to go through for the last couple of years, you don't even hear about it anymore. What happened?
I know.
All of a sudden,
good
everybody's
point.
better?
Things come and go,
What
don't
happened to
they?
that?
That
Things
is so
come and go.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was going to be the end of football, and now we're over that. So throw that one in there. What happened to the concussions?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll do that when we
We're
get
coming back, right?
You help remember that. Did you have anything else, Jim?
A couple things, but we're getting ready to. Well,
No. We got 2.5 more minutes.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
let me just say this: we still are on video. We're on Facebook and we're on Instagram Live. So even though we're on break, so people who watch the video and are on the social media, they get to see the breaks instead of hearing all the commercials. Because when the commercials got so much, having people sit there and watch a video for 3 minutes, that's not entertaining at all. So Christy started leaving the microphone on when we were discussing the show, and it became much more of a hit. So I'm like, hey, let's do it. So people like
That's not a
seeing
bad
that.
idea.
Yeah.
So and I just had a couple of things. One of them, you and I talked about a few minutes ago. One was the make sure. Okay.
Make sure he keeps it clean when live. All right. Okay, but you're a football player from the 70s. You know what? They all do that, especially the tough ones. New Jersey. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I did that on purpose. Go ahead.
Okay, one was the value of sports to life in America. I'd like for our listeners to hear about that, hear what you have to say about that. And Ann and I have already, we have a lot of ideas about that, how good it is for just our mental health and emotional health. Also, were the fans a help or a hindrance to you as a player? Because that issue came up when they were talking about like virtual games and stuff like that. And some we heard that some players are saying the fans were they were a problem for me. It was a hindrance to me, and I just wondered what you thought.
He was looking forward to not having any fans.
Yeah,
and so we just have a few minutes. We're going to go to the show again. Right?
All right, yeah, let's talk about that because I think that guy must be a jerk.
That's kind of the way we felt about it too. I would think that the fans would get you so fired up,
Okay,
you got it. The fans, man. That's what it's all about.
That's what I think.
I love the fans. I love the fans that jump right in there.
What is the Del Walmsley Radio Show?
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show Monday through Friday from 11 until noon.
It takes a whole lot more effort to get something started in your life than it does to keep it moving.
Del Walmsley has moved thousands closer to a great life. The Del Walmsley Radio Show is now on 1160 AM KBDT, Monday through Friday from 11 until noon. Listen and move toward your great life today.
I've got to admit, it's getting better, a little better, all the time.
If you'd like to get better, call Ann right now. 214-810-8255. 214-810-TALK. Now more with Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
Welcome back. We had a very good time on the break. If you want to see the video, you too can go to Getting Better with Ann Beal on Facebook. You can go to Ann Beal on YouTube. You search on Ann Beal. You'll find us everywhere. We have a video on Instagram. Dr. Slaughter, Jim Slaughter, has a video on Instagram. So you can watch this in lots of different places if you want to see the video. So on the break, we actually keep talking for the video. If you'd like to contact us, you can contact us at gettingbetterwithanbeal@gmail.com. And you can call our business cell, 817-501-1638, or you can text us there. There's all these ways. It gets more complicated. So on the break, we were talking to Phil about the sports coming back and what different NFL players feel about it. What were you saying, Dr. Slaughter?
Well, Phil and I talked a few minutes ago about the value of sports to life in America.
Yes,
and
Phil.
That has really resonated with me, that question and the answer to it during this corona thing. And so, Phil, could you address that? What do you feel is the value of sports to life in America?
Well, I was telling you, Jim, that I was at Bowling Green, and I'm a phys ed major. So, our senior year, you do a little psychology of sports, psychology of entertainment, psychology of people, and it's such a fact that people need to be entertained. I mean, it's inside of every one of us. Whether they entertain themselves by hunting, fishing, going to the movies, playing football, basketball, baseball, any of that stuff. You need to do something besides work, okay? Or else you probably shouldn't even be on the earth. But anyway, so now everybody needs to be entertained. And what I think with this, thanks to the coronavirus, we're all really learning that, and we're realizing that, hey, man, we like entertainment, and we like our movies, and we were talking about binge watching on the break there. People binge watching the Tiger and Ozark and all that, Tiger King, right? So I think it's just showing the world, hey, we need this entertainment. We need to get sports back going. And I certainly don't want to do anything that's unsafe. It scares me to death, all the stuff that came out about how contagious this disease is, and how if I just don't want anybody to be sitting in a football stadium and the whole place gets sick. But I got a feeling somehow or another we're going to be over it. Maybe it's the weather; it's going to get warmer, and we're going to get a break in the action here, and then we're once we get back to normal, we get the vaccine or whatever it's going to be, and then we're going to get back to all of our entertainment, and then we're going to know for sure that we need to be entertained. It's kind of like, hey, like those Wild Kingdom things, the shows on TV, and they talk about the tigers or the elephants or the giraffes. They all need to do this.
Yeah, well, they need to compete.
People need to be entertained, man. We need action. We need action. We need football because that's the most action. So that's why we got to get this baby up and running.
We actually were talking about on the way here today that there's 2 NFL players that actually have COVID, Brian Allen and Von Miller. Now, who do they play for? Do you remember?
Well, Von is Denver for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you know the
and
Denver
you hate
Broncos.
I hate the Broncos.
Just kidding.
Yeah, sorry, Von.
Yeah, he was actually saying that he's so surprised he caught it because they sent all the players home, and he's been home and he's been sequestered. He stayed in and he hadn't gone out at all. And he and his wife, only 4 times did they go out just to drive through and get food, and they wore their gloves and their mask and they used their disinfectant and everything. And so he didn't understand. Maybe it could be the food, right? But he just couldn't understand because he was staying home. And this is where when they talk about the antibodies, that, this herd immunity, that by people build up an immunity by being together, and that with the flu, the same thing, and with all these other illnesses, that if you isolate off, then you don't get the herd immunity built until you get back. And so,
Oh, that's good. I like that. You know what? I heard this herd immunity, but I was thinking they were saying we can't be in a herd or we're all going to get sick together. But I like what you're saying.
Yeah, they say it builds. In fact, they said that there's a huge section of California that none of them got it, and they all built this herd immunity. And so it's kind of interesting. I never had really heard that either, but that's where you build it and you protect yourself. And so that's why they're starting to test people for antibodies to see if they have them, then they're protected. And how did they get it? because it's not just from getting it, because a lot of those people didn't have it. So, that's why they're saying we need to get back and then build that immunity. So, that's where with football, you are really close and you're hitting each other and you're all that. But we were also talking. So this is my question. How do you because you started the flag football before age 14. So these kids up until age 14, right? Flag football until like their freshman year in high school. So these kids won't get concussions. What if these players, if they try to alter it to where they're not touching, they're only pulling flags or something like that?
Well, yeah. We're going to play flag football because it's been proven. I guess it's been proven. I don't know. Everything's proven, and then it goes away. But I guess it's proven that let the little brains get a little older before you hit.
Like develop.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Because I think it probably would even be more football players and better football players if they just learned all the fundamentals without all the hitting, because the hitting kind of gets in the way.
And they get hurt. And so a lot of them can get hurt pretty badly before they get, there.
And then they're never even going to get a shot. I remember when I was coaching Pop Warner one time, we had a tackling drill. And, and it was kind of like a tackling drill. I used to have at Bowling Green, which were ridiculously hard and brutal for what you really need to do. And you just randomly go up against a guy. And this one guy gets out there, and he goes up against the biggest and the strongest guy, and the guy knees him right in the head. And the guy quit the next day.
Oh, yeah.
And how about that?
That's
I'm
sad.
remembering that for 20 years because I should never let that happen. You don't do that as a coach, but you're all revved up and, hey, we're going to tackle this guy.
Yeah.
It's stupid. So if you're playing flag, you get rid of that type of coach, which was stupid on my part.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, football is going to be there. I think high school, college, pros, that's where football becomes a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Now, you mentioned on break how they don't talk about the concussions anymore.
Yeah,
really.
You mentioned concussions.
Yeah.
I want to let's ask your listeners what happened to that.
Yeah,
if you remember, 3 years ago, they were going to shut the NFL down because of concussions. Now we ain't even talking about that.
No,
and
we haven't though.
Really.
Even before COVID, it wasn't. You didn't hear of it anymore.
No, it just went away. And why did it go away? I don't know. Maybe because Nancy Pelosi wants to pick on the president, and that's what they're doing all the time.
That's all that's on TV, nonstop.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even have to listen to that crap right now.
No.
Because COVID's taken over, which is good.
It is good. Because it's just
look
change
at all the
it
stuff
up.
we're talking about.
Because
right?
the human.
I don't want to go out. We can't go into politics. But I was very happy to hear in when you're opening your show that Texas is open. That's
Texas
really
opened today. Yeah, yesterday, I guess. Yeah, the governor opened it back up. And it's exciting. Now, it's, they still want you to be smart and wise, and they have these, that step one that they came up with, the coronavirus team, Pence and all of them, the scarf lady, I can't even think of Dr. Briggs, they all came up with these protocols that for step one for places that haven't had any rise in the coronavirus since the last 2 weeks. They're going down, all this kind of stuff. And so we qualified. So he opened it back up,
Good.
step one. And so
Good.
our clinics have been open because we're essential, but we've done most of it. People have been afraid. So we've done most of ours on the phone and telehealth. But we're thinking about maybe for some really severe people going back in next week. And but for us, it's been great. But he has opened it back up. I know that you wanted to ask him some questions, Dr. Slaughter. I know Jim.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we had just touched on briefly was the fans. We had heard someone, a player, actually say that he could live without the fans, that they just were a real hindrance to him or a problem for him. I can't remember how he put it. But with all the talk about having the fans stay at home and empty stands and all that, and are we going to play without fans there and all that, I'm thinking, okay, were the fans a help to you, Phil, or a hindrance to you on the field?
Yeah, let me answer that question after I tell this guy what a jerk he is. and whoever he might be, if you don't appreciate the fans and you don't appreciate your paycheck, get out of the league. Get out of the league. Shouldn't be one person, one athlete in any sport that shouldn't appreciate the fans, because that's what pays us. You know, no matter what, that's the bottom line. I can't, and it's kind of like I see these people, and I listen to them on TV. They don't smile, and they're all grumpy, and that's the type of guy. And guess what? When he hurts his knee next year and he's done, he's going to be dying for the fans. You know, to hear the fans boo or cheer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I can't stand this. I can't stand people like that. So anyway, with the fans, are you kidding me? When you when you're playing, I mean, I don't think I'm the only guy that can say this. I used to judge if the guy was tackled by ooh, or if he's still running by yeah. The fans, you hear the fans because you got your face in somebody's chest, and you know when the play is over by what the fans, how the fans make their noise.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And I used to love the fans, and especially in Oakland. You know, I mean, they would tell me when the play's going, when the play's over with, and all that stuff. I used to love them, and then I used to get excited, and I would play for the fans. You know, I remember we're playing the Miami Dolphins in this crazy game we had back, and ended up becoming the Kenny flips it in the end zone to Clarence Davis, and we beat the Dolphins after they had their undefeated season. We knocked them out the next year.
Yep.
And my God, the fans, they called it black. This was before anybody. Every girl and every guy, everybody in the stadium had black underwear, black bras. They were all waving them around. I came out, and I looked up in the stands. I loved it, you know. The fans, you get me so excited. And then, you know, and all somebody's got to do is say, come on, Philly. And man, I love that stuff. Are you kidding me? I love the fans are everything to sports. And the bigger you get, meaning you get into the pros. I mean, fans are that's your bread and butter, man. I love performing for the fans, and actually I perform for the coaches to stay on the team. But it's nice. It's nice. I mean, look at all these jerks with their dances nowadays.
Yeah, they are showing off for the fans, right? And for TV.
Yeah.
That's almost embarrassing to me as a watcher.
You guys did not do that.
As...
So let me tell you who it was, okay? Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins.
Oh, God. Well, Kirk Cousins better be careful. He pays a whole bunch of money, and I don't think he's that good. You know?
Well, he might. Maybe he gets nervous. Maybe he's one of these people that has a lot of anxiety if people are watching. And so if nobody's there, you know.
I didn't know you were going to tell me who it was.
I told him. I wasn't.
Anyway, I really love what...
Did you know, how about, wait a minute, Kirk Cousins, isn't he the guy that had a van or something? And he's driving around after he's making $30 million a year, and he's driving around Minneapolis with a van that somebody was advertising on the side of it to make more money.
I think
you're kidding me.
I don't know.
I wish, Ann, give me one more tackle. Give me one more tackle. That's all I want. I don't want Van Tarkenton. I want Kirk Cousins.
That is so great.
He doesn't care about fans. Well, you know, and we're fans, so when a player says he doesn't care about fans, I'm like, oh, that's not right. You know, because we love, we love them, and that's tough.
Watch. Hey, Ann, put this down. Jim, put this down.
Got it.
Put it in your somewhere. I am making a prediction. Kirk Cousins goes down, and then he starts, and there's going to be something about the fans that they're going to say, well, we don't want him anyway. You know, whoever your second team guy is going to come in and do a great job. That guy, he made bad karma for himself.
Bad karma.
I just wrote it down, Phil. We're gonna
put
it
in a place
where
we'll put it
as
your future
Hall of Famer
prediction.
No, his psychic. You know, he's telling us what's going to happen in the
karma,
future.
The psychic. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know what
so
you were
we have a short break. We have a short break, and then we'll have 5 more minutes with you. And we just want you to share whatever you want to share about all of this that's going on and your passions. And I was hoping, in the last show, let me just tell you guys, if you want to hear our last show with Phil, that was on Living Well with Ann Beal on iHeart and voiceamerica.com. You can go there. Just if you Google Ann Beal, you'll find it. And we had a great show, and you shared all about the Immaculate Reception. And we will talk more about when we get right back. Stay here.
Good stuff, Phil.
Ever. And the fans,
Ever.
Hey, Jim and Ann, how about the fans? The fans came on the field and changed the whole game around.
Yes, exactly.
We'll talk about the fans. Kirk Cousins never had it so bad.
Yeah.
I want to tackle him.
And you know what? You're such a social person, and people love you, and you're funny, and you're great with people, and of course you want people there. And so what I wonder is these players who, they don't really like people. They don't really respect that these fans are the reason that they're there, and that they pay the money, and even the TV stations. I mean, it's because the fans are watching.
Of course,
absolutely.
Of course, everything is about the fan.
Yeah.
It all starts with the fan. Are you kidding? From day one.
Yeah.
If you go back and read about the old NFL days, man, they were looking for fans. They were doing anything to get a fan in the stadium.
Uh-huh.
That's what they needed. They knew that, and they also knew that people needed to be entertained. They just didn't really know how to, Oh my God, there's a book, and it's called The Passing Game. Okay, Jim, this is your assignment.
He's writing it down.
The passing game. It's about passing game, how it originated, meaning throwing the football.
Oh yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And all of the crazy rules that they kept changing, and then all of a sudden they realized passing is good, and the fans love it. Meaning the fans love it, And they were doing everything to make the game more exciting. That's why I love that book.
I got to get that book, Phil. Thanks for reminding me about that. I got to get it.
Yeah, little Jewish guy out of Michigan who and the ball was like a kind of like a basketball, but an oblong basketball. You couldn't throw the thing more than 10 yards or something.
Yeah.
He had big old hands, and he came out of Michigan. He went to the Cleveland Browns, and you'll read a great story for anybody who's really into football. And you read about the fans and everything they did to get a fan in the stadium. And now you get this jerk up in Minnesota that doesn't like the fans.
Well, hey, have you seen what the Cleveland Browns are doing? They're using YouTube, and they're putting videos on. They got their new coach. They got their new general manager. Yeah. They have it all on YouTube, and all their meetings and how they're going about not the strategies for the playing, but it's like how they're marketing to build this team up, and how they're getting ready for the draft, and when they're watching the combines, kind of what they're thinking about people, and how and their interviews when they met with. They had like how many interviews with the players, different players.
Boy, I don't know. But it was over and over again. Yeah.
And they put it all on YouTube, and we've been watching it, and it's been interesting because Jim went to OU, so he's crazy.
So I really loved Baker when he played for OU. He's now I'm kind of wondering about him. He seems to be a character.
He's gotten a little
now, but he still has some skills, and Cleveland hopefully can use them to the fullest.
Yeah,
he does, and also. Cleveland is going back to their old uniforms.
Is that what they're doing?
How about this? When I went to Bowling Green, we had the exact uniforms as the Browns.
Oh,
Browns.
no, really?
They used to do training camp at Bowling Green, but Bowling Green was always orange and brown. So were the Browns. Okay, and we looked, and then. Remember when the Browns got those orange pants?
Yes.
A bunch of years ago, like in the 70s.
Yeah.
And then they lasted like 1 year. They played terrible.
Got rid of those babies.
And
you
know where they went?
Where?
They went to Bowling Green.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, we're coming back. We're coming back. So I'm letting you go. We have 2 seconds.
There we go. What a story.
You're getting better all the time. Now, back to Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
Oh, my gosh. Phil, we have to talk about the Immaculate Reception, just the fans involved in that. We were talking about that when that play, the greatest play ever,
San Francisco
Okay.
talks about the catch, but that's nothing.
Yeah, just share a little bit about it. We only have
compared
5
to the play you were
minutes for the whole
involved in.
thing. But if you can just share a little bit about it, the play itself that
Well-
you were covering, Franco.
Well, I was, and it was really nutty. Darryl LaMonica, who was a great quarterback, just was having a horrible season. But somehow or another, we made it through. We got into the playoffs, and Kenny Stabler sitting on the bench. He got in a couple games, but it seemed like every time Kenny got in, something happened, good. And here we are in the fourth quarter, and Kenny goes in, and there's probably 3 minutes left in the game. Darryl cannot move us at all, and he does this crazy, it was like a bootleg, but it wasn't supposed to be. And he gets around the end and zip, and he goes down there and he goes into the end zone. What am I talking about? 3 minutes? Probably a minute and a half left in the game. So now, we kick off to the Steelers, and Terry Bradshaw brings the boys out, and we get in our huddle and we just say, because we're kind of noted for making stupid penalties at the end of a game, and just somebody hitting usually. Stupid. What I mean, you don't take off somebody's head when you don't have to, but we used to do that a lot. So we get in the huddle and we say, okay, no penalties, and we have first down, bam, nothing. Second down, nothing. Third down, nothing. Now it's 4th and 22. It's like misty, snowy, crappy day. Yeah, it is. We got them. I mean, they're backed up. They got like 80 yards to go for a touchdown. And Franco, we come out of there. We got this special little defense, and it was like a deep zone. And Gerald Irons, who was playing the other inside linebacker with me, and I got Franco. He's got Frenchy Fuqua, and we're supposed to cover those guys man to man. And everybody else is okay. Everybody else has got this giant zone, and Bradshaw calls the signals, and we get in the huddle. No penalties. Anyway. Bradshaw scrambles out to the left. A couple guys miss tackles. He fires it downfield into just a pile of people. And Tatum, instead of just coming up and knocking it down, he smashes into Fuqua. Fuqua's shoulder kind of, goes flying forward. The ball comes through. It hits the ball, hits it, and bam, it's coming. And I was covering Franco, and Franco is running down the field, and I'm with him. And as soon as Bradshaw threw the ball, I said, forget about this. I'm going to the ball. I go to the ball, and then bam, when Tatum hits him, it comes flying right back over my head, right over my head.
Because it bounced off him, right?
Right. It bounced off Fuqua, and here's Franco right behind me, and he picks the ball up. I make the turn to go make the tackle, which would have been an easy tackle, but bam, I get hit in the back of the legs by their McMakin, who's their tight end. And so I get clipped. So the ball bounces off Frenchy Fuqua to another offensive player, which is illegal. I got clipped, what was illegal. On the line of scrimmage, it was holding all over the place. And now Franco gets the ball and runs down the field because everybody thinks the game is over, and he's got the ball, runs into the end zone, and the whole stadium goes berserk. John Madden is the only guy in the stadium that knows offense to offense. The ball cannot go offense to offense. Mm-hmm. That's illegal. Now it's not, but in those days it was.
But they didn't
John
call any of that.
No, John is screaming at the refs. The refs are looking around like, what's he talking about? I don't even think they knew the rule. So now they go in the dugout.
Wait, hold on. You can't forget the fans. The fans.
The fans are climbing over the field. There's thousands of fans on the field. They could have never cleaned that field. So it goes on for like 10 minutes. And all of a sudden, the guy comes out and puts his hands up for a touchdown. No! And it was like, after 10 minutes, we're standing on the field. It was nuts. So anyway, it was so crazy. And, instant replay wasn't what it was. And then I guess they called back to New York and said, what do we do? And I get, because the word is we don't have enough police. You better give them a touchdown,
Oh, Phil, thank you. You know what? And the fans were amazing, but that was they stole it. Like the refs, you know how you can see that? Now that is entertainment right there, right? That's entertainment. And even the fans just made it so much cooler. And but then it's frustrating. I think just watching that play and even hearing you go through every emotion. Like every emotion, yay, no, they're cheating, and then the fans, and it's like awesome. And that's why it's like the greatest play ever, and that's why you guys have your anniversary and celebrate that, even though
we do it every
lost.
year. We do it every year.
Yeah.
December 23rd, Franco calls me and says, at 4:07 in the afternoon, hey, Phil, what were you doing not 45 years ago?
So we have 10 seconds. We just want to thank you and thank everybody for listening. We want you guys to get back out there and, do it safely, of course, but we look forward to sports. We need it. We need people out there. We need fans, and we love it.